finding the derivative when dealing with radicals? Well, we want to write this as, I haven't taken the derivative yet, x to the, if I have the nth root of x to the m, this becomes x to the power over root. Notice, this is where we find the root in the index, and the power is going to be the exponent of our variable x. So we go x to the power of a root. Here is our power. It's to the third power and the fifth root. Plus, here is our power, x to the fifth power, and here is our root. Now, when I find f prime of x, I'm just using the power rule, the general power rule, multiply and subtract. This is going to be 3 over 5 times 1, x to the 3 over 5 minus 1. Notice how cheeky I am. I make my minus 1 into 5 over 5. Plus, I'm going to go multiply 5 over 4, x to the 5 over 4 minus 1. Notice how cheeky I am. In this case, my chameleon-like 1 takes the form 4 over 4. So this gives us 3 over 5 x to the numerator minus numerator, negative 2 over 5, plus 5 over 4, numerator minus numerator, x to the 1 over 4. Now, if I stipulated you have to write this with positive exponents, we can say this is 3 over 5. The 3 stays where it is. It has an exponent of 1. The 5 stays where it is. It has an exponent of 1. The only thing that moves down and becomes a positive exponent is x to the 2 over 5, plus 5 over 4, x to the 1/4. This here is a fine answer, particularly when you're asked to leave it with positive exponents. That's a great answer. If I said to you, can you put it in radical form? You sure could switch this to 3 over 5. The root is the fifth root of x squared, plus this is 5 over 4, and in the numerator here we have the fourth root of x. Even though it's kind of written like that, times, we're going to assume that goes up to the numerator. It certainly doesn't go down to the denominator. So this would be another way to write this if you're obsessed with putting them in radical form. I'm very happy if you leave it as exponentials. Dealing with radicals in the denominator. Well, this is equal to 7 over 4, and this is x to the 2 over 3, power over root, which is 7 over 4 times x to the, when I bring that up, it becomes negative 2 over 3. Now, and only now, am I ready to take the derivative. Multiply 7 over 4 times negative 2 over 3, x to the negative 2 over 3 minus 1. Look at the form my minus 1 is taking now, 3 over 3. So this gives me numerator times numerator, negative 14, denominator times denominator, over 12, x to that numerator minus numerator here, negative 5 over 3. Well, I know that 2 divides into 14 and 2 divides into 12 to give us negative 7 over 6, x to the negative 5 over 3. If I stipulated leave this with no radicals, no exponents that are negative, we could write this as negative 7 over 6, x to the 5 over 3. And of course, that would be the same as negative 7 over 6, the third root of x to the 5th. Both of these answers are super duper. Both of these are more than acceptable. Which begs the question, if you're allowed to write them as fractional exponents as long as the exponents are positive, why would you go to radicals? Just showing off? I get it. I love to show off too. Last thing, be careful of parentheses. So if we start here, this is 5 to the first, 3 to the first. So we'd say y is equal to 5 over 3 x to the negative 2. So the derivative here is 5 over 3 times negative 2 x to the negative 2 minus 1 to give us y prime is negative 10 over 3 x to the negative 3. So y prime here is negative 10 over 3 x to the third. A fine answer for that. Careful, if we have a times b to the n, this is a to the n, b to the n. So this is y equals 5 over 3 squared x squared. So y equals 5 over 9x squared, which is 5 over 9x to the negative 2. When I take the derivative of that, I get 5 times negative 2 over 9x to the negative 2 minus 1. So y prime here will be negative 10 over 9 x to the negative third, which is negative 10 over 9 x to the third. Notice that these two answers are not the same. The parentheses changed the game for us. The parentheses mean take whatever's directly in parentheses and raise it to that power. In other words, these parentheses here act like steroids. It allows our squared to lift more. Our squared under Tren or Trenbolone or SARMs or whatever illegal substance you want to get on, is going to lift this whole thing, a heavy load, 3x. Well, I can do that because it's on performance-enhancing drugs of parentheses. Here, the squared only goes with the x. So just be careful of that.